Did Bruno Mars just silence the industry once again? How did he return to the top of Spotify's global charts this week without a viral challenge, without a promo blitz, and without even saying a word? Fans are stunned, critics are scrambling, and the numbers don't lie. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like, and don't forget to subscribe because this story is just getting started. The world blinked and Bruno Mars was back on top. Without fanfare, without warning, without a new album announcement, a flashy award show performance, or a leaked demo track teasing his next move. This week, music lovers around the globe were left speechless as Bruno Mars quietly ascended the Spotify throne once again, reclaiming the #1 spot in the most unexpected and emotional comeback the streaming platform has seen all year. And the question on everyone's lips, how? How does a man known for smooth vocals, retro funk, and stadium-smashing hits continue to defy the laws of modern music marketing? How does someone who hasn't released a full solo project in years still possess the gravitational pull to eclipse the likes of current chart titans artists backed by endless social media campaigns and billions of views? The answer isn't simple, because Bruno Mars isn't just an artist. He's a phenomenon, a storm wrapped in silk, a timeless force who doesn't chase trends, he sets them ablaze. It started subtly. Some fans noticed their favorite Bruno classics, When I Was Your Man, Versace on the Floor, Talking to the Moon, were climbing in daily streams. Others began hearing snippets of Leave the Door Open, echoing in unexpected places, grocery stores, late-night radio, even TikTok edits, despite the song being released more than 3 years ago. Then came the global numbers, and jaws dropped. Over 90 million monthly listeners, more than 11 million daily plays. Spotify confirmed it. Bruno Mars had overtaken the streaming giants again, not with a viral dance, not with controversy, but with emotion, with heart, with music that refuses to age, to fade, or to be forgotten. But the resurgence wasn't just about nostalgia. It wasn't just old fans pressing replay on their favorite heartbreak anthem. Something else was happening, something more powerful, more human. A quiet renaissance. In the chaos of digital overload and algorithm-driven fame, the world was craving sincerity. It was aching for rhythm, soul, and songs that meant something. And Bruno, without lifting a finger, was already there waiting, shimmering like gold in a world of digital glitter. Music critics, who once questioned if Mars could survive another wave of Gen Z streaming stars, are now rewriting their narratives. His name is dominating headlines again, not for scandal or stunts but for staying power, for crafting melodies that seep into your soul and never leave, for the kind of artistry that can go silent for months and still echo louder than the rest. And while the numbers are impressive, they're not the full story. They never are with Bruno. Behind each stream is a person, a moment, a memory, couples rekindling their first dances, broken hearts finding healing in the ache of his ballads, teens discovering for the first time what R&B felt like before auto-tune and algorithms, Terrence playing his songs on repeat during car rides, strangers smiling at strangers when Treasure plays at the gas station, and somewhere, someone presses play on Just the Way You Are and believes, for the first time in weeks, that they're worth loving. This is the invisible power of Bruno Mars. He doesn't need to trend. He doesn't need a drama-fueled rollout or a reality show teaser. His music pure, crafted, sincere does the talking. And this week, it spoke louder than ever. It shouted across continents. It whispered into late-night headphones. It danced through kitchens and glided across wedding aisles. Spotify crowned him king, but the people had already decided. What makes this moment even more spellbinding is the absence of hype. There was no countdown, no press tour, no Instagram flood of cryptic clues, just Bruno's voice and the songs that have become eternal companions for millions. But some fans believe there's more to this rise than meets the eye. A hidden signal, a silent prelude to something bigger. Could this unexpected return to the top mean that new music is near? Is Bruno Mars, the man who vanished into the velvet shadows of pop royalty, preparing for a full-scale comeback? There are whispers, studio sightings, unconfirmed collaborations, teasers so subtle they could be figments of our collective hope, or the beginning of a new era. Some even believe this spike in streams was orchestrated, not by a label, but by the fans themselves, thousands of listeners, who refuse to let his legacy dim. And if that's true, if this meteoric rise is a love letter from the people rather than a marketing plan, then Bruno Mars isn't just back, he never left. In a year dominated by trends, diss tracks, and artists fighting for relevance, Bruno stands apart. Not louder, but truer. He's not trying to beat the algorithm, he's outliving it. While others sprint toward virality, he glides toward legacy, and Spotify's data only confirms what his fans have known all along. When the noise fades, the music remains. It's the kind of story that defies logic, that disrupts the norm, that makes executives scratch their heads while listeners wipe their tears. Because this isn't about a comeback, it's about a reminder that talent doesn't expire, that soul doesn't go out of style, that a man with a fedora and a mic can still make the world stop spinning, even if only for 3.5 minutes at a time. There's an elegance to it, a magic, a hush that descends when his voice enters a room, commanding attention not with volume, but with emotion. And right now, millions are feeling that magic again, reawakening, remembering. But what comes next? If this chart-topping moment is the beginning of a new chapter, then the world better hold its breath, because history shows that Bruno Mars never moves without purpose. And when he does, he rewrites everything. One thing is certain: the industry is watching, fans are listening, and Spotify is playing catch-up to the one man who doesn't chase numbers, he becomes them. As this week's data solidifies his throne, all eyes are on him, not for gossip, not for gimmicks, but for greatness. Because somewhere, behind closed studio doors or beneath shimmering stage lights, Bruno Mars is working, crafting, perfecting, not to prove a point, but to give us another timeless gift. Until then, the world will keep playing, keep singing, keep believing, because Bruno Mars isn't just back on top. He's back where he belongs. But as always in the world of Bruno Mars, silence doesn't mean stillness, disappearance doesn't mean decline, and the absence of noise, that's just the calm before a storm of soul, rhythm, and genius that leaves the industry breathless. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that Bruno never reappears without a reason. Every move is deliberate, every sound is sculpted, every beat, every harmony, every lyric, it's all part of a bigger, richer mosaic. A soundscape not designed for trends, but for time. Not made to go viral, but to go eternal. So now the question is, what is he building? There are whispers low, electric, impossible to ignore. Some say he's been in the studio with names that would shock the world. Others claim he's been quietly recording a solo album unlike anything he's done before, more raw, more vulnerable, more him. Then there are those who believe this Spotify surge isn't just nostalgia, but the opening act of something monumental. A new era, a new sound, a new Bruno. And if that's true, the world isn't ready, because every time Bruno Mars reinvents himself, he doesn't just shift the sound of pop, he rewires its DNA. He brought back funk when no one asked for it, made doo-wop cool again, turned throwback soul into global hits, and fused decades of genre into seamless sonic art. While others chase virality in fast loops, Bruno composes legacy in slow burn. And that's exactly what this Spotify moment feels like. The flicker before the fire, the quiet inhale before an explosion of music that will once again redefine what the charts sound like and what they feel like. Still, perhaps the most magical part of this story isn't just the anticipation of what's next, it's this moment, this perfect, quiet, glowing moment when an artist is celebrated not for controversy or gimmick, but for consistency, sincerity, and timeless talent. A moment where millions pressed play not because a trend told them to, but because their heart did. Because when everything else in the world felt loud and fake, Bruno's voice felt like truth. For young artists watching from the sidelines, this is a lesson. For music executives crunching numbers, it's a reality check. For fans, it's a homecoming. And for Bruno Mars himself, it's a victory. Not a flashy, look at me kind of win, but a poetic one. The kind of victory that sings softly through your headphones and roars loudly in your soul. The kind of win that reminds the world what real music sounds like. As of today, Bruno Mars sits once again at the summit of Spotify, but he doesn't stand there alone. Behind him are millions who believed, who stayed, who replayed, who waited, who never left, even when the world's attention did. He's not riding a wave, he is the wave, the current, the undertow pulling all of us back to the heart of what music is supposed to be. Raw, real, unforgettable, and maybe, just maybe, that's the greatest shock of all. In a culture addicted to fast fame and fleeting attention, it's the soul singer in a suit, the man with a voice like velvet and eyes full of fire who reigns again, quietly, powerfully, unapologetically. So play it again, turn it up, let it drown out the noise. Let it remind you what music feels like when it's built with care, with craft, and with the kind of heart that doesn't fade after a trend dies down. Because this isn't just a Bruno Mars moment. This is a Bruno Mars movement. And if you're listening right now, you're part of it. Comment your favorite Bruno track below. Share your memories. Like, subscribe, and buckle up, because whatever comes next, it's going to be legendary.